One of the most important things in Power Rangers is the theme of each season, as that will define the style of most things. The costumes, the Zords, the powers, the transformations, the weapons, and many other things will be driven by the theme. Let's make a list of the top 10 themes in my opinion, but first we should mention that Power Rangers doesn't choose the themes, as that comes from Sentai. Since this list will be based on my opinion, I invite you to mention your top 10 themes in the comments. Number 10. Power Rangers Zeo is one of my favorite themes, and it is based on ancient civilization. That's why they use pyramids, gold, and textures similar to the stone drawings that come from those civilizations. It is a little sad that the Power Rangers costumes are so basic, since a style like this could have been squeezed much more, and this was demonstrated with the designs made by the designer Tokujay. Here we can see that the artist managed to capture all the essence of this theme, and we can see how amazing this style really is. Besides the theme of the ancient civilization, they also mix some things based on Zeo crystals, and that is why the helmets have those geometric figures. Number 9. Power Rangers RPM has a theme of cars and speed. We know that Turbo Season also has this same theme, but we must admit that RPM knew how to take better advantage of it. One of the things I like the most about this style that RPM has are the belts on the suits, as they are identical to the belts used by professional car racers. In addition, the suits also have some wheels in various places, and all this creates a great combination. Despite all those awesome details, I think the best of all are the blasters, as it is the same thing we use to fuel the cars, and I think that was an excellent idea. Number 8. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but we are going to refer to the first season since here the initial theme is more marked. Although many think that the style of this season is dinosaurs, the reality is that it is based on prehistoric animals. In this season we can see the Tyrannosaurus, but we can also see the mastodon, which is not a dinosaur. Although the costume design has nothing of the prehistoric animal style, the helmets do have this style. My favorite part of this season's theme is the Zords, as it completely captures the style of the animals and machines. Number 7. Power Rangers SPD has become the favorite season for many fans, and one of the reasons is because of its theme based on cops. When we were kids, many of us wanted to become policemen, and they are the first heroes who risk their lives to save others. That is why this style works very well for a children's series, and in this season they knew how to take advantage of this theme very well. The Zords, the costumes, the command center, the ranks, and even the way in which they catch the villains has a marked police style. Number 6. Power Rangers Mystic Force is based on magic and natural elements. I know that many will criticize me for including this season in this list, since many did not like this season, but the reality is that I am a big fan of magic. Another thing I should mention is that creating a theme based on magic is very complex, since you can create something ridiculous for superheroes. Normally, in superhero stories the wizards are almost always the villains, and we have seen that many times in Power Rangers. However, in this season the Rangers also use the magic style, and everything looks amazing. Number 5. In this position we are going to mention Power Rangers Wild Force and Jungle Fury, because they have a very similar theme. Both seasons have a different style, but their themes are based on wild animals. Obviously, each season has different things, but the basic style is wild animals, and because both seasons knew how to use this style well, then I must mention both of them. From the helmets, the Zords, the costumes, and everything that involves these two seasons, they have a spectacular style. Number 4. Power Rangers Ninja Storm. The only thing wrong with its theme is the season logo, but everything else is amazing. The style of this series is a combination of ninja and atmospheric natural phenomena. This includes winds, tornadoes, storms, thunderstorms, and many other things. I think this theme was a great combination since the power of nature is one of the most impressive things in real life, and the way they combined all this with the ninja style was perfect. Number 3. Power Rangers Dino Thunder. And in this season we can already talk about dinosaurs. We know that there are other seasons that also used dinosaurs as a theme, but in my opinion I think Dino Thunder used this style better, and that's why I don't include the other seasons. I have even previously said that the costumes of this series are among the best costumes of the entire franchise, and this is partly due to the style of the series. By the way, a curious fact about this season is that they never had a Pink Ranger. However, in the comic Power Rangers Unlimited of the Morphin Masters, the emissary that accompanies Kimberly was transformed into the Pink Ranger of Dino Thunder, and it can be seen in the logo on her chest. Number 2. In this position we are going to talk about a small controversy, and it is that the series that I want to include here is Megaforce, but I am also going to mention Super Megaforce. Let's explain this as briefly as possible, and that is that Megaforce is based on angels and Super Megaforce is based on pirates. However, Saban wanted to ignore the theme of Super Megaforce, even though in Sentai this is the style it has. To understand this better, in Sentai, Megaforce is one team and Super Megaforce is a different team. This is why both seasons in Sentai are different, but in Power Rangers they decided to merge them, and this is why they had so many strange changes. The controversy of all this is bigger, but we must continue with the video and mention that both themes are awesome. Number 1. In the third season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers everything changed, and the Rangers started with a different ninja style. This theme has always been my favorite, and I can't hide my love for the costumes the Rangers used. Although there are other seasons based on ninjas, I think the Mighty Morphin costumes with the Ninjeti power were the ones that best captured the essence of the real ninjas. Normally, ninjas use black in their costumes since they must not be seen by their enemy, but since this is a fantasy series, it was spectacular to be able to see these costumes with different colors. Each Ranger achieves a different connection with the Morphin grid, and each Morpher is different since some are just to achieve a transformation and others are used as weapons. In addition to this, each Power Rangers saga has its own style to make morph, and today I am going to mention the 10 best transformations. Number 10. Let's start with the most obvious of all, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We start with this morph since every good Power Rangers fan knows that this morph should be on any list, but let's face it, we only like this morph for nostalgia. If you started watching Power Rangers since Mighty Morphin, you're sure to get goosebumps just listening to the music. It's a feeling of excitement that energizes your body and makes you want to jump up and down and do the morph yourself as well. But if we are honest, this morphosis is one of the simplest. They just grabbed their morpher, put it to the front and mentioned their animal, while with some pretty simple effects they transformed into the glorious Power Rangers. At the end, they would appear spinning to finish with a pose. We can't criticize the special effects too much or evaluate them with so much detail since it was 1993 and the special effects for those times were not as good as they are now. Only a few movies managed to stand out with great digital effects, and they needed a huge budget, which the Power Rangers series did not have. Even so, the theme song used by the Mighty Morphin can be considered the best or one of the best, but we'll talk about that in another video. Number 9. Now let's switch to Power Rangers Jungle Fury, one of the fiercest morphs in the entire franchise. The Ranger puts on his morpher goggles and makes wild ninja-style moves. Along with his moves you can see an energy being created and his background changes to a jungle. Then we see his wild animal come out and then the transformation is complete with more wild moves and effects. This is a morph that fits very well with the theme of that season. Number 8. We'll continue with Power Rangers SPD. This is a morph that for some reason many like, and it is one of those that instills greater authority. His morpher opens and creates a hologram image of the suit while the background is like a tunnel that moves very fast. The Ranger with a jump transforms and first appears with the suit on, and then, in a great sequence, appears his helmet, to finish standing on top of the SPD emblem and gives several movements. Number 7. Now let's enter the storm with Power Rangers Ninja Storm, where they begin a morph by entering a storm to then see how his clothes explode and his suit appears. Then his helmet appears in parts to finish with an excellent pose. In HTE background appears the nature powers of each Ranger with their insignia. This morph is worthy of its name and makes you feel that you have the power of nature on your side, and you are ready to fight. Number 6. The Power Rangers Dino Thunder morph is one that combines the background effects with the transformation very well. This morph has a lot of fury, energy, and feels powerful despite looking simple. They start by activating their morpher to then have a white suit with their emblem in the center. Then they take turns as their suit color is pieced together. Now comes my favorite part as they fall on a rock that breaks and lava comes out. Their helmet appears and, in the background, their Zord appears in an exciting way with various explosion effects. Number 5. Hearing the name Power Rangers Mystic Force, it is hard to imagine what a morpher will be like since it is a name that has nothing tangible, but this morpher they did very well. They open their morpher which launches a power into the sky, the ring opens from which their power comes out and they enter through the ring. This completes the transformation of the suit and then the helmet to finish with a pose and their cape billowing. Number 4. Now, we need concentration as we will become Power Rangers Samurai who use their morpher to write their symbols in front of them and then appear in a background with many symbols floating around. Those same symbols create like a small tornado around them, transforming them with their costume. Then comes the best part, their sword comes flying in, they catch it and put it away to put their disc on it and then take it out to pose. Number 3. Now let's stop playing games and let's see Power Rangers Beast Morphers. In this amazing morph they turn on their morpher and then enter the key and start the transformation. Then, my favorite part, comes a big tornado that tucks them in and out of the tornado, and from the tornado an animal comes out in a very fierce way. At the end comes out their helmet and from their morpher comes out the helmet visor to finish the morph in style. Number 2. In this list we must include Power Rangers Wild Force. This morpher, besides having a great theme song, also has a good sequence. It starts with its morpher turning into each Ranger's animal and then into a warrior. The morpher explodes and out comes the transformed Ranger to then give to the final part, which is the best as the helmet comes in a somewhat wild way with good effects to complete the morph. Number 1. Let's end this list with one of the latest morphs of the franchise, and that is Power Rangers Dino Fury. This morph has become one of my favorites as it recreates a connection to the Morphin grid. This morph begins by turning his morpher around to activate it and then the action begins. The background changes and the Ranger hit the ground, which is destroyed and raises a grid of energy that begins to envelop the Ranger. This grid coalesces and forms each Ranger's dinosaur. Then comes my favorite part, and I think that is what makes this morph so good, and that is when the Ranger begins to float in the Morphin grid. The Morphin grid wraps around the Ranger and transforms him in an epic way. In the end, comes the helmet that joins in the middle, and the Ranger finishes by pulling out his sword. Although I also like Cosmic Fury's transformation a lot, I didn't put it on this list because it looks too much like Dino Fury's transformation. Each morphosis has its own magic, and each one provokes a different feeling depending on the music, the energy, and how connected you are with the series at that moment. If your favorite morphosis is not on this list, mention it in the comments. Superhero weapons are one of the most important things, and in fantasy universes these weapons are not normal. They are exotic weapons that have a great visual impact, and their powers are spectacular. Previously, we had already made a list of the most powerful weapons, so this video is not about the most powerful weapons, but about the most spectacular weapons, judging it in another way. The weapons that I am going to include on this list are those that make me want to have them because of how spectacular they look and how powerful they can seem. In this list I'm not going to put them in order, so I'm just going to mention the 10 weapons I like the most from the entire history of Power Rangers. Number 10, Golden Power Staff from Zeo's Gold Ranger. This weapon, besides being very powerful, has a very original design that combines very well with the Ranger who carries it. The gold color highlights the most important parts of the weapon, and the thing I like most is its size because it can be easy to carry. At the top it has that red sphere that makes us think that it is a magical object, and the symbol that has above gives the Egyptian style that the season has. The part where it is held also has the same style, and the most special thing about it is that the top part opens to be able to throw the power. Number 9, Hydro Bow of the Blue Ranger of Samurai. This bow is very different from any bow we have seen, and it does not have the normal parts that any other bow can have. For this bow, no arrows are needed, and it has something to hold it very firmly to be able to shoot the laser beams. The entire design is spectacular and creates a lot of intrigue when we look at it because it does not look like something normal. Another thing is that since it is blue in color, then this transforms it into a weapon full of fantasy, and this causes the whole design to be transformed into something mystical. Number 8, Jungle Blade of the White Ranger of Jungle Fury. Previously, we had already talked about this weapon, and it is one of the most powerful we have seen in the history of the franchise. Besides being very powerful, it also has a spectacular and very original design. This weapon has many functions, but the most impressive is that its design allows the Ranger to use it more easily by being able to put his hand inside the weapon. This weapon comes from the Rhino Morpher, which transforms into the Jungle Blade and starts to look very threatening. This weapon looks very sharp, and its colors make it look very wild. Number 7, Snow Staff from the White Ranger of Mystic Force. This scepter has the style of a queen, but the power of a mystic being, and its design shows both. I really like that it matches very well with the Ranger using this weapon, and the snowflake design looks spectacular. I also like the design of the top that has gold color, as it is what gives it that style of a European queen. The dial on the top also gives it the mystical style it needs to match the seasonal theme very well. Number 6, Stego Spike Axe from Cosmic Fury's Black Ranger. This axe has one of the most impressive styles I've ever seen on a weapon, and it has so many spectacular details. Let's start with the bottom part, where it has the head of a dinosaur with gold color and red eyes. The top design with all those sharp parts makes it look very striking and modern. I really like the color combination, which obviously matches perfectly with this Cosmic Ranger. A special part of this weapon is that it has the Power Rangers symbol on it, and this gives it a unique detail, although the other weapons of this season also have it. The whole design of the axe gives it a very futuristic style, and being such a slim weapon, it gives very good mobility to the Ranger. Number 5. Super Silver Spear of the Super Megaforce Silver Ranger. This weapon that looks like a trident reminds me a lot of the gods of Olympus, and it is that the theme of this season is pirates. This weapon combines perfectly with this theme, but I think its design is elevated to a higher level because instead of looking like a pirate weapon, it looks like the weapon of a god. Its colors match perfectly, and best of all, it can be transformed. The other transformation that I really like is the Super Gold Spear, and although it looks like a simple transformation, it changes the entire style. Now instead of looking like a trident, it looks like an anchor, and this makes us feel that it is a very strong weapon with which you can take down any powerful villain. Number 4. Lion Hammer of the Yellow Ranger of Ninja Storm. This hammer, which causes earthquakes, has a very powerful design as its colors make us feel that it is a very heavy real hammer. I think the metal-colored parts are the ones that make us feel that it is a very heavy weapon and can cause a lot of damage if you get hit. Despite this, the yellow color gives it that sense of fantasy in which we can recognize that it is a magical weapon and that it has another power besides just hitting. What I like the most about this weapon is that it is one of the weapons that would scare me the most if I saw an enemy trying to use it. Number 3. Shark Sword of the Red Ranger of Super Samurai. This shark-headed sword comes from the spin sword, and even though that weapon is pretty standard, transforming into the shark sword takes it to another level. From the first time I saw this weapon in action I was impressed, and its design is super wild. The shark head makes it look very menacing, and its colors help a lot in this. The shark teeth on this sword are something that makes a big impact, as it is something you don't want to encounter in a battle. This sword has such a spectacular design that it has become one of the most famous weapons in the entire history of the franchise. Number 2. Saban of the Mighty Morphin White Ranger. Saban is the sword that has the best design among all the Power Rangers swords, and the addition of the tiger's head was something very original. Obviously, this head has a purpose, and that is that this sword is a living being. If this sword had no life, even so, having that tiger head makes it look spectacular. In addition to this tiger head also has a protective helmet in gold color, and that is what gives it a unique style. I really like that the White Ranger symbol is part of this sword, and I also like that its blade is short, so it doesn't cover the entire sword. Saban is possibly the most famous weapon in the entire franchise, and this is for obvious reasons. Number 1. Ankylo Hammer from the Red Ranger of Cosmic Fury. From the first day I saw this hammer I wanted to have it, and this is what I look for every weapon on this list to provoke. When a weapon makes you want to own it, then its design is so inspiring that you feel the need for it to be part of your collection. This hammer is one of the best weapons ever built in the history of Power Rangers, and I'm so happy they did it this season because it proves that Power Rangers production can create excellent weapons. The entire design makes us feel all the power that this hammer has, and even before the series premiered, we could already know that this hammer was going to cause a lot of damage. The red color makes it look like an explosive weapon, and being a hammer, then this combination makes us understand that it has a lot of energy. What I like the most are all the little details it has and the way they manage to mix both colors. Write in the comments your list of the top 10 weapons, like this video and subscribe for more powerful Power Rangers weapons.